Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Diwali Muhurat picks. Over the past year, we have seen India's macroeconomics backdrop remains largely supportive from resilient GDP growth to moderating inflation. Yes, yet despite this encouraging macros, market sentiment has stayed somewhat cautious, mainly due to muted earnings reflecting global uncertainties and selective investor participation. Interestingly, this period has been characterized by strong stock specific action where quality names and sector lead sector leaders continue to attract interest. Today, we will delve deeper into what is driving this divergence and explore the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead for Indian equities. To explain this in detail, we have with us Mr. Amit Agrawal, and he will uh, give more details about it along with topics from our side. Over to you, Amit.
Yeah. Thank you, Shrikant. Let's start with the presentation. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Samvat 2082 presentation. I will quickly take you through current market and economic developments, post which me and my colleagues will share insights on our Diwali ideas. Firstly, this table shows how different global indices and Indian sectoral indices have done in the last 1 year, that is somewhat to somewhat. इक्विटी मार्केट्स ग्लोबली ज्यादातर पॉजिटिव ही थे इन द लास्ट 1 year with strong performance coming from European and US markets. जर्मनी का डैक्स gained almost 28% while यूके का जो फिटसी है that has gained 14.6% in the last 1 year. अमेरिकन इंडाइसेस भी काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग थे. S&P 500 and Nasdaq has gained almost 17 and 26% respectively. हमने स्ट्रॉन्ग परफॉर्मेंस एशियन मार्केट से भी देखा, स्पेशली शंघाई, कॉस्पी, हैंगसेंग एंड निक्केई. वीकनेस जो था एशिया में वो था थाई मार्केट में और इंडियन मार्केट में, जो नेगेटिव जोन में बंद हुए इन लास्ट 1 year. तो जो जियो पॉलिटिकल टेंशंस है, टैरिफ रिलेटेड अनसर्टेनिटी, समवॉट वैल्यूएशन कंसर्न, अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ, ये सारे फैक्टर्स ने मार्केट्स को ग्लोबली डोमिनेट किया है. Receding global inflation, lower fuel prices, improved consumption, especially in US, and outlook supported market globally. Globally अभी markets थोड़ा सा caution zone में है, especially with geopolitical tensions and tariff war and its repercussion. अगर आप sectoral indices का performance देखें तो most of the indices ended in trend except for Bank Nifty and to some extent auto index. Bank Nifty gained around 7.2% and auto index gained around 0.5% in somewhat 2081. हमने एक गुड मोमेंट देखा इन स्टॉक्स लाइक भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, आयशर मोटर्स, बजाज फाइनेंस, मारुति, इंटरग्लोब एविएशन, भारती एयरटेल और HDFC बैंक एंड ऑल्सो इटर्नल इन द निफ्टी. BSE IT was the biggest loser during somewhat 2081, losing almost around 21%. ये primarily था because of global weakness, tariff related uncertainty, H1B visa hike, and uncertainty over the proposed 25% tax on companies hiring foreign employees. Real estate was the second biggest loser. It lost around 17%. ये था थोड़ा सा स्लो डाउन लॉन्चेस में जो स्लो डाउन थे उसके वजह से, और उस एक फियर ऑफ जॉब लॉसेस स्पेशली इन द आईटी सेक्टर, इन्होंने थोड़ा सा डिमांड को डैम्पन कर दिया और रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर को भी. वी ऑल्सो सॉ वीकनेस इन यूटिलिटीज, FMCG, ऑयल एंड गैस, कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल एंड टेलीकॉम. based on weak consumer demand. बैंक निफ्टी ने आउट परफॉर्म किया इन 2081 primarily due to underperformance that we saw in the previous few years. We also saw improvement in asset quality and valuations भी काफी attractive. Next. इंडियन मार्केट्स इन somewhat 2081 एक साल हो गया है since the Sensex and Nifty touched record high of 86,000 and 26,300 respectively during September 2024. In the last 1 year, Nifty declined by 1.5%. ये reflect करता है period of consolidation that we saw in the Indian market. मिड कैप्स एंड लार्ज कैप्स ने ज़्यादा बिगर करेक्शन देखा है, वाइल हम लोग को ऐसा लगता है कि जो इंडिया का लॉन्ग टर्म स्टोरी है वो अभी भी इंटैक्ट है, बट इन्वेस्टर्स आर क्लोजली वॉचिंग फॉर ट्रिगर्स दैट कुड पुश द मार्केट टू न्यूअर हाइज. उसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टर्स फ्लो विच विल प्ले अ की रोल इन द मार्केट. संवत 2081 में उन्होंने अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2.5 लाख करोड़ का माल बेचा है, और करंटली जो उनका पोजीशन है डेरिवेटिव सेगमेंट में वो 93% शॉर्ट्स. ऑन द अदर हैंड डीआईएस ने 5 लाख करोड़ का माल खरीदा है. However, Indian market still remained flat over the past 12 months, primarily due to weak earnings and to some extent high valuations. फिस्कल सपोर्ट आया था गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इनकम टैक्स रिलीफ, जीएसटी रेट कट्स एंड मॉनेटरी स्टिमुलस भी आया था इन द फॉर्म ऑफ 100 basis repo rate cut in the first half of CY25. We have also seen normal monsoon. हमने एफटीए भी देखा यूके के साथ, और बहुत सारे एफटीए आने वाले आगे जाके. ऑल दिस विल प्रोवाइड डायरेक्शन टू द मार्केट इन मीडियम टू लॉन्ग टर्म अपार्ट फ्रॉम लोज. नेक्स्ट. जो डेवलप्ड मार्केट की सिचुएशन है वो थोड़ा सा बेटर होते हुए दिख रहा है. ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी जो अब की एक पीरियड ऑफ अनसर्टेनिटी से गुजर रहा था विद ट्रेड पॉलिसी टेंशंस, fluctuating markets, currency fluctuation, and geopolitical across regions. US में फोकस है with its unpredictable trade policies which can lead to global slowdown and inflation. फेड ने इंटरेस्ट रेट्स कट फिर से शुरू कर दिया है, और हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि फेड नवंबर और दिसंबर में 25 बेसिस और रेट कट करेगा. However, थोड़ा सा जो टैरिफ्स ऑन imports है can increase inflation in US and also lead to slowdown in the economy. यूरोप में थोड़ा सा ट्रेड पॉलिसी अनसर्टेनिटी है, बट ग्रोथ हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि ईयर एंड में पिकअप करेगा और अर्ली 2026 में भी पिकअप करेगा, और ये प्राइमरली ड्राइव होगा रेट कट और फिस्कल ईजिंग के वजह से. चाइना वुड बी ड्रिवन बाय implementation of counter-cyclical economic policies by the government to stabilize the economy. और काफ़ी इनोवेशन हो रहा है चाइना में, स्पेशली वी हैव सीन अ बिग इनोवेशन लाइक डीप सीक इन रिसेंट टाइम्स. ओवरऑल हम लोग बिलीव करते हैं कि जो ग्लोबल सिचुएशन रहेगा वो ड्राइव होगा जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशन से, टैरिफ से, artificial intelligence, which is playing a big role nowadays, and other mega forces expected to reshape the trajectory and make up the global economy. Next. बड़ा क्वेश्चन है, हाउ विल इंडिया फेयर अंडर करंट circumstances? Disappointing corporate earnings, lackluster domestic consumption, higher valuation, adverse tariff outcomes and weakening currency. इन सभी फैक्टर्स ने इंडियन इकोनॉमी पे काफ़ी प्रेशर डाला है, मार्केट पे काफ़ी प्रेशर डाला है लास्ट एक साल में. बट पॉलिसी मेकर्स आर नॉट बिहाइंड, काफ़ी उन्होंने कोशिश की है. वी हैव सीन बिग मेजर्स इंक्लूडिंग द जीएसटी ओवरऑल, जो 8 सालों में पहली बार हुआ है, जो हमें लगता है कि विच विल हेल्प ओवरऑल other pro-growth policy measures announced this year, including income tax cuts and monetary easing. जिसमें आरबीआई ने टोटल रेपो रेट कट किया था 100 बेसिस पॉइंट, और कैश रिजर्व रेशियो कट किया था बाय ऑलमोस्ट 150 बेसिस पॉइंट। जो हमारा सीपीआई इन्फ्लेशन है वो भी काफी बिनाइन है। और अगर हम जीएसटी रेट का जो रिसेंटली हुआ है उसको अगर इनकॉर्पोरेट करें इस सीपी इस साल, तो जो सीपीआई इन्फ्लेशन FY 26 का आ रहा है वो 2% आ रहा है, विच वी हैव लोअर्ड फ्रॉम 2.6% अर्लियर। हम लोग ये भी एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि आरबीआई आगे भी रेट कट कर सकता है बाय ऑलमोस्ट 50 बेसिस पॉइंट in subsequent policy meetings by end of FY 26। तो काफी हमने ये भी देखा है कि एसएनपी ने इंडिया का जो सॉवरेन क्रेडिट रेटिंग है उसको अपग्रेड किया है फ्रॉम BBB- टू BBB, which happened first time in 18 years and which is the highest S&P has given to India। और ये भी चीजों को सेंटिमेंटली पॉजिटिव करता है। मॉनसून अगर देखें तो मॉनसून भी 8% अबव नॉर्मल रहा है इस साल इंडिया में, विच इज पॉजिटिव फॉर रूरल इकोनॉमी एंड कंजम्पशन। फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट्स देखें तो हमने यूके के साथ फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट साइन कर लिया है, और नेगोशिएशंस चल रहे हैं विद सेवरल अदर नेशंस विच इंक्लूड द यूरोपियन यूनियन, न्यूजीलैंड, यूएस, ओमान, कटार, पेरू एंड चिली। अगर हम ये सारे फैक्टर्स को इनकॉर्पोरेट करें तो हमें लगता है कि इंडिया का जो मीडियम टू लॉन्ग टर्म फ्यूचर है वो काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग है, एंड वी एस्टिमेट जीडीपी टू ग्रो एट 6.5% ईच इन FY 26, FY 27 एज वेल एज FY 28। तो शॉर्ट टर्म अनसर्टेनिटीज को अलग रखिए, मार्केट्स रेंज बाउंड रह सकता है शॉर्ट टर्म में, बट वी आर कॉशियसली बुलिश ऑन इंडियन इकोनॉमी इन द लॉन्ग रन। अब ये टेबल बताता है कि सिप फ्लोज इंडिया में काफी स्ट्रांग है। फ्लोज इंप्रूव हुए 8,000 करोड़ पर मंथ फ्रॉम FY 19 टू 14,000 करोड़ पर मंथ इन FY 23, और अब ये पहुंच गया है ऑलमोस्ट 28,000 पर मंथ इन FY 26। जो अगर मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशन काफी रिजनेबल है, पेनिट्रेशन कम है, नैरेटिव स्ट्रांग है मीडियम टर्म का, और मोस्ट म्यूचुअल फंड प्लेयर्स बिलीव कर रहे हैं कि जो ये सिप का फिगर है ये 30 से 35 हजार करोड़ पर मंथ पहुंच जाएगा अगले 2 साल में। सो इंडियन मार्केट को ये बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट मिल रहा है डोमेस्टिक म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री से, स्पेशली वाया सिप्स। नेक्स्ट। सो ओवरऑल वी आर बुलिश ऑन इंडियन इकोनॉमी। हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि सम स्टेबिलिटी आ जाएगी अर्निंग्स में, जो आफ्टर वी हैव सीन बिग डाउनग्रेड्स इन द पास्ट 12 to 15 मंथ्स। हमने मॉडरेशन भी एक्सपीरियंस किया है, बट इस मॉडरेशन का जो पेस है वो आगे जाके काफ़ी स्लो हो जाएगा। Q2 में थोड़ा सा हम लोग डाउनग्रेड देख सकते हैं क्योंकि प्रिवेलिंग जो एनवायरनमेंट है वो थोड़ा सा वीक है, बट 27 में हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि अर्निंग्स काफ़ी स्ट्रांग रहेगी और ब्रॉड बेस्ड रहेगी। We are expecting stable earnings, strong growth in earnings of 17.6% in FY 27, with EPS of almost 1297 and earnings of 14.3% growth in FY 28 with EPS of almost 14.87। हम लोग अज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि जो मैक्रो सिचुएशन है वो स्टेबल रहेगा और वो हाई फ्लोर प्रोवाइड करेगा मार्केट्स को, और ग्लोबल जो हेडविंड्स रहेगी वो लो सीलिंग प्रोवाइड करेगा मार्केट्स को। हमने अनुमान लगाया कि मार्केट मॉडेस्ट रिटर्न दे सकता है अगले 12 से 15 महीने में, विच विद स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्रोथ इन अर्निंग्स पार्टली बीन ऑफसेट बाय लोअर मल्टीपल्स। नेक्स्ट। ये चार्ट दिखाता है कि 1 ईयर फॉरवर्ड मल्टीपल ऑफ emerging economies. This chart depicts India to be the most expensive emerging market, which is currently trading at 19.3 times December 26 earnings. It's followed by emerging market Asia at 14.8 times, Malaysia 14.2 times, and then Thailand. While other countries of BRICS like Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, China, they trade from 10 to 14 times. एवरेज हमारा जो दिखे इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स का है वो ऑलमोस्ट 14 टाइम्स है। अगर हम डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज देखें, एशिया, जापान और यूएस को, जिसमें हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं 10 से 12% अर्निंग ग्रोथ आएगा नेक्स्ट ईयर, वो ट्रेड कर रहे हैं काफ़ी एक्सपेंसिव एट ऑलमोस्ट 21 टाइम्स एंड 23.8 टाइम्स रेस्पेक्टिवली दिसंबर 26 अर्निंग्स। लेकिन एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात यह भी है कि इंडिया हैज़ ऑलवेज बीन एक्सपेंसिव ड्यू टू हाई ग्रोथ डेमोक्रेसी कंट्री। वी बिलीव जो करंट सिचुएशन है मार्केट का, जो करंट कॉम्बिनेशन है, जो करंट मैक्रो एनवायरनमेंट है, और जो करंट ग्लोबल सिचुएशन है, ये सारे फैक्टर्स को अगर हम कंबाइन करें तो हम लोग को लगता है कि सिचुएशन हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं टू ऐड क्वालिटी स्टॉक्स फ्रॉम लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव। और हमारा जो पूरा असेसमेंट हमने किया है सेक्टर स्टॉक्स का, वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड 7 potential stocks which are expected to do well in Samvat 2082. These 8 stocks include Adani Port, Acuitas Chemical, Cummins India, Eternal, ICICI Bank, Mahindra and Mahindra, and Reliance Industries. I will take you through Adani Port and Special Economic Zone, and post which my colleagues will take you through other Diwali picks. अदानी पोर्ट एंड स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन पे हमारा बाय रेटिंग है विद अ टारगेट प्राइस ऑफ 1900। अदानी पोर्ट ने लास्ट 5 सालों में अपने आप को काफ़ी ट्रांसफॉर्म किया है फ्रॉम अ प्योर पोर्ट कंपनी टू द इंडियाज मोस्ट डाइवर्सिफाइड ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड लॉजिस्टिक कंपनी with strong growth across logistic ports and even marine services. कंपनी का जो बिजनेस है वो आउटपेस कर रहा है इंडस्ट्री को विद वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ ऑलमोस्ट 3 टाइम्स अदर सेक्टर। मार्केट शेयर भी काफ़ी एक्सपैंड हो गया है विद करंट मार्केट शेयर एट अराउंड 28%, विच वॉज 24% अराउंड 3 years बैक। एंड कंटेनर शेयर काफ़ी राइज हुआ है टू 46%। जो करंट एसेट्स, न्यू एसेट्स है लाइक वाइजैग एंड कोलंबो अलोंग विथ Haifa port in Israel provides incremental growth and geographical diversification to Adani port. जो उसका लॉजिस्टिक आर्म है अदानी लॉजिस्टिक्स, उसने भी अपना बिजनेस काफ़ी रैपिडली ग्रो किया है अक्रॉस कंटेनर ट्रेन ऑपरेशंस, इनलैंड कंटेनर डेपोज, वेयर हाउसेज एंड ट्रकिंग, मरीन सर्विसेज में भी काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्रोथ दिखाया है कंपनी ने एंड एक्सपेक्टेड टू ग्रो ऑलमोस्ट 3 times ओवर करंट ईयर बाय FY 27। सो अदानी पोर्ट एक इंटीग्रेटेड लॉजिस्टिक कंपनी हो गया है। इट कैप्चर्स हायर कस्टमर वॉलेट, काफ़ी कार्गो स्टिकीनेस भी हमने देखा है। कंपनी काफ़ी डाइवर्सिफाइड है और मॉडल काफ़ी स्केलेबल हो गया है विच अलाउज फॉर सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ फॉर द कंपनी। Company has now set to become the India's largest integrated company by in port logistics by FY 29। हम लोग FY 29 में एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं 11,500 करोड़ का टॉप लाइन और 2,800 करोड़ का EBITDA इन FY 29। सो अदानी पोर्ट पे हमारा बाय रेटिंग है with a target price of 1900, and we have valued the company using a combination of discounted cash flow methodology and SOTP. So Adani Port is a buy with a target price of 1900. That's it from my side. Over to Amarjit for his take on Eternal.
Thank you, Amit. So our next talk is Eternal Zomato. So Zomato is one of the India's largest food service platform that connect the customer, restaurant, delivery partner, and it also offer the dining out services, food delivery services, also quick commerce services through their subsidiary Blinkit. Zomato has food delivery business. If you'll see in the terms of market share, gross mercantile value, the company has a 57% market share compared to its peer Swiggy, and Zomato has a wide distribution network compared to its peer. Almost more than 750 cities the company has present, and on the subsidiary front, Blinkit, we believe that already in the past Zomato has turned around and company is making a good number on the EBITDA front, and also we have seen a strong growth in the food delivery business And so also going forward, we expect that like Blinkit business, it will perform better compared to other quick commerce companies peers. So, we believe that Blinkit's take rate has room for the expansion as it's move to the 1P model, which is, providing a better sourcing, and also companies improve their ad monetization. And further, also we can see that like old store, like whatever the company has a old store, they are maturing, and we will see the operating margin leverage. And we are expecting in the second half FY26 company will turn around on the EBITDA level. So overall consolidated level, we can see that like companies, going ahead, next over 3 years, company will report 83% CAGR, and on the EBITDA front, we see a drastically improvement. So we are positive on the stock, and with the buy rating, and the fair value is 375 rupees.
Thanks, Amardeep. We'll talk on Mahindra and Mahindra in the auto space. Now, auto space has been a bit active because of the GST rate cut. And we have seen a pretty strong growth reported by the companies during the first, during Navratri festival. Mahindra and Mahindra is one such stock which would be benefiting out of it. The company largely has got presence in three broader segments. One is tractors, the other is the SUV segment, and third is the light commercial vehicle segment. The company is a market leader in all the three segments that they operate into, and they have been, maintaining that leadership position quite nicely. In the tractor segment, when you look at the growth has been pretty good in the past few months. And in fact, the September numbers were very strong. The company has seen 40 to 50% sort of volume growth in the month of September, but that's also because the festive season got preponed this time around to September. Apart from that, the monsoons have been good, so we believe the tractor growth momentum should be maintained going forward. In the SUV segment, the company's performance has been quite strong in the past few years. They have been gaining market share, and because of the good new launches that they've done, which the market has accepted well. The company was anyways doing pretty good in the SUV segment, even while the passenger car industry was not, performing strongly. The SUV segment was doing very well, and with the GST rate cut, we believe this strong momentum in the SUV segment will continue for them. Now, light commercial vehicle segment is one such play where the company was not seeing a lot of momentum, but we see, this segment also to pick up going forward because of the rate cut. And we expect these measures, to also help improve profitability for Mahindra and Mahindra. The company's overall performance in terms of volumes have been pretty strong, and we expect that to continue going ahead. We have a buy rating on the stock, a fair value of 4,000 rupees on Mahindra and Mahindra. So that's one of our Diwali picks this time around. I hand over the call to my colleague Pankaj.
Yeah, thank you. So good evening, everyone. The next stock that we are recommending is Cummins India, on which we are very much positive. We've been recommending this stock. We still feel that the stock has enough potential to lighten up your portfolio for next 1 year. We have ad rating on the stock, and a fair value is 4,400 rupees. सो कमिंस की अगर बात करें तो कमिंस इंडिया की एक लीडिंग इंजन डीजल इंजन मैन्युफैक्चरर है, एंड इट्स अनलाइक अदर कैपिटल गुड्स कंपनीज। इसमें जो डायरेक्ट जो कॉर्पोरेट कैपेक्स का जो एक्सपोजर है वो नहीं होता है, एंड इट इज मोर लार्जली ड्रिवन बाय योर real estate commercial growth, or overall we can say even industry also needs backup, power backup, plus the new emerging sectors like data centers जो है वो ड्राइव करती है काफी हद तक इनके ग्रोथ को। सो द कंपनी is diversifying its presence across different segments in the new market. So they are offering new products. So they are getting into battery energy storage system, so which is having enough growth potential in future. जैसा मैंने कहा कि डेटा सेंटर मार्केट जहां पर दे आर सीइंग strong growth prospects, and overall that segment is likely to grow at more than 2 to 3 times of the GDP growth rate. So in that way, that segment will drive the growth for Cummins India. Plus, it is also a play on manufacturing, as there's enough investment happening in the Make in India and the semiconductor side, and also all these manufacturing capex, all these industries will require power backup as well. So in that way, Cummins will be a major beneficiary from it. Apart from that, exports has been a very strong growth driver for the company, and जो domestic sourcing जो India से sourcing है वहाँ over the period we have seen a very strong traction, and Cummins India can be a leading supplier to its global parent. So यहाँ पर एक काफी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी हम लोग देख रहे हैं. Overall, we are expecting the company will sustain a good margins of over 20% plus. We assume around 14 to 15% CAGR in revenue, EBITDA and PAT over next 3 years. हमने जो वैल्यूएशन किया है यहाँ पर वो 40 टाइम्स ऑन सितंबर अर्निंग्स जो किया है उसके जो कोर बिजनेस है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट द BESS जो बैटरी एनर्जी स्टोरेज सिस्टम में वो जा रहे हैं वहाँ पर करीब 1 टाइम्स एडिशनल मल्टीपल दिया है. So in that way we have arrived at a fair value of 4,400 rupees. We have ad rating on Cummins India. Over to my colleague.
Thank you very much. Coming to Reliance Industries, I don't think any introduction is required for this company. We all know this. We are positive on the company, recommending ad rating on the company with a fair value of 1,555 rupees. Now, just let's understand what are the triggers in various verticals which the company has got. First, on the telecom, we all know that we have been waiting from the company side to comment when the IPO where the telecom business will come. So the company has already indicated that H1 calendar year 2026 telecom IPO will be coming. So that will be a big positive for the company or for the investors holding Reliance shares. Secondly, if you look, they have been saying that this is quite commendable, I can say. They are targeting to double their operating profit between FY22 to FY27, and operating profit will reach to 2,11,000 crore rupees. So that is quite interesting. If you look, it is such a high base. If they can double their operating profit, then it's quite impressive from a long-term perspective, because more cash is generating, they can deploy further in their other projects, and then they can grow their businesses. How this will be achieved? Coming to their organized retail business, they expect that will grow by 20% plus revenue CAGR over the next 3 years. That is, and we know that the opportunity in India in the retail space is huge. You just need right strategies and right places to focus on, and then you can win the war. So for FMCG business is concerned, they have got a 5-year ambition of 1 lakh crore revenue. So when I'm saying 1 lakh crore revenue, you need to understand where they stand today. Their revenue right now is mere 11,500 crore rupees. Now they are talking 5 year down the line, this will touch to 1 lakh crore rupees. This is a long, strong revenue growth trajectory. A long-term ambition of being India's largest FMCG company with a global presence. Now the vision is very clear that I want to be the India's largest FMCG company. So why not to be part of that company which wants to become largest FMCG company? This business will also be hived off and listed at a certain in the future, in the distant future. So we will be enjoying those benefits. With an aim to transform into deep tech enterprises without IT, or it's incomplete to be in this system right now. So the company has announced a new JV with Meta and has expanded its partnership with Google Cloud. So they are moving in all directions, in all dimensions. They are moving just to grab the opportunities which are available. They are not just restricting to oil and gas or not retail, but they are focusing on technology also, new energy technology. So what does that mean? The management is very agile. They are ready to bend with the need of the hour. So if we have seen in the past, historically, companies we don't change their path according to the need of the market, then they just vanish from the business. So the beauty about this company is that they are very focused on where the the economy is heading, where the industries are heading, and they are accordingly taking right steps. We have done a sum of the parts based valuation because each business is separate and the valuation methodology which is used is separate. So we have done a valuation based on of each business, and then combined based on that we are getting a fair value of 1,555 rupees. Over to Veer.
Yes, thank you, sir. Hello to all. Very good afternoon. So, ICICI Bank is one of our topics from the banking space. Now here we have a buy rating with a fair value of 1,700. So now if we talk about the last financial year for ICICI Bank was a very steady year. Now here we need to appreciate the fact that the last financial year was particularly not a very good year for the banks. There was growth concerns, there was asset concerns on the slippages. But despite these headwinds, ICICI Bank's result came in pretty steady. So a steady year in a difficult quarter means a very good result. Now, they reported around 13% sort of a loan growth, and the loan growth was above the sector. The sector grew by around 9 to 10%. Their margins last year stood at 4.3%. There was some compression, but this compression was on expected line as there is a rate cut, and rate cut means the margins for banks fall. But still, this 4.3% margins for ICICI Bank is still best in class if we compare this performance with its peers. Slippages, GNP, NNPA, all these ratios were very healthy for ICICI Bank. Last year and even this year, we are seeing some problem in the unsecured side for the banking industry as a whole. But even in this space, ICICI Bank's unsecured book is actually holding pretty well. And therefore, this instills more confidence into this franchise. Now, going forward, we are expecting 12% sort of a loan growth rate in this financial year. In Q2 of this quarter, we are expecting some compression in margins and probably it will settle at 4.2% sort of a level. But this should ideally mean that the margins should bottom out from these levels. And second half of this financial year, say, or maybe from quarter one of next financial year, there would be tailwinds to the margins. So this would be a good thing for ICICI Bank. Asset quality again should remain clear, should remain pristine. वहाँ में कोई issue दिखाई नहीं दे रही है. The stock has fallen around 11 to 12% from its recent high, and therefore ये जो level है which it is trading currently, it appears to be a good level to enter for a 1 year time frame. Stock is trading at 3 times price to book, and हम ये समझते हैं कि ये जो premium पे trade करता है versus other banks, ये deserve करता है ये bank for the quality of performance which it is giving, and therefore these premiums should sustain. And investors can certainly expect good book value compounding returns from ICICI Bank from these levels. So it's a very quality play which you can get at these uncertain circumstances. And here we have a buy rating for a fair value of 1,700. I'll hand over to Rini Mehtan.
Thank you, Veer, and good afternoon, everyone. Our next Diwali pick is Acutaas Chemicals, earlier known as Ami Organics. It's a fast-growing player in pharma intermediates and specialty chemicals. Basically, ये company वो crucial ingredients बनाती है जो medicines, EV batteries और semiconductors में use होते हैं. So now, why we like the stock? So recently, Acutaas ने सबको surprise कर दिया था with big margin jump. Gross margins hit 53% thanks to process improvements and a better product mix. Profits actually tripled year on year, even in a soft quarter. And then management ने भी guidance दिया around 25% revenue growth with even better margins. Plus 3 CDMO projects are in discussion जो fourth quarter से contribute करना start करेगा. Each will add around 50 to 100 crores in annual revenue. और सबसे exciting part, growth visibility हर segment में strong है. Pharma intermediates, electrolyte additives and semiconductor chemicals के लिए भी एक Japanese MNC के साथ deal almost final है. So overall, Acutaas एक solid growth story है and जिसका visibility is also very clear. So our fair value on the stock is 1780 with buy view on the stock, which is definitely a stock to keep on your Diwali radar. So that's it with our Diwali picks and our presentation. We will now quickly move on to the Q&A session. So I'll request everyone to drop their questions in the chat box. Um Now I'll start with the first question we have. So Nirmal Bulde is asking, sir, your view on Lodha developers. The stock has corrected considerably. Any chance of revival? For this, we have our real estate sector analyst Pankaj Kumar. I will hand over to him. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so good. Q1 was soft for the company because launches काफी हद तक मिसिंग थे, प्लस Q1 में वॉर सिचुएशन था, उसकी वजह से भी launches डिले हुए. And in the Q2 also we have seen we have not heard any big ticket launches from the company because of the monsoon season, heavy monsoon season रहा है, and festives जो हुए towards the end of the quarter हुए. बट अगर कंपनी की ओवरऑल पाइपलाइन की बात करें तो क्वाइट स्ट्रांग, दैट इज क्वाइट स्ट्रांग. इवन गाइडेंस जो है कंपनी ने करीबन जो 19% का ग्रोथ गाइडेंस दिया है वो भी इंटैक्ट है. कंपनी के पास इतने प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं कि डिस्पाइट एब्सेंस ऑफ एनी बिग टिकट लॉन्चेस दे कैन मीट हेल्दी डबल डिजिट काइंड ऑफ ग्रोथ. एंड अभी सेकेंड हाफ में काफ़ी अच्छी पाइपलाइन है, तो इन दैट केस जो ग्रोथ है वो काफ़ी स्ट्रांग लग रहा है. देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन टर्म्स ऑफ ग्रोथ प्रोफाइल. इनफैक्ट हमने अभी इसमें प्रेफर्ड फिक्स में भी हमारे ही आता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ फ्रॉम द रियल स्टेट सेक्टर. एंड रियल स्टेट सेक्टर पे भी ओवरऑल हमारा पॉजिटिव व्यू है. एंड लोधा बीइंग अ मेजर प्लेयर पर्टिकुलरली इन मुंबई एंड बैंगलोर एंड पूना मार्केट, जो कि तीन बड़े मार्केट है, मोर देन 60-70% जो मार्केट है वो कवर करता है. प्लस दे आर ऑल्सो एंटरिंग टू न्यू मार्केट्स एज वेल इन फ्यूचर. दैट्स व्हाट दे आर लुकिंग एट. एनसीआर में दे आर टारगेटिंग. So in that way, they are looking at a very strong growth going ahead. We are positive on the stock and we have a fair value of 15 rupees.
Thank you. I'll go to the next question. One of the participant is asking, next level for Nifty is 27,000 possible. For this, Shrikant sir, can you share your views on this?
So to talk about specific level on Nifty, I would say it's not like that easy for the market when there are headwinds in terms of global cues, especially tariff and the way the dollar is very strong. And if we consider the performance of other markets, uh, they are relatively much better markets in terms of their earning valuations. But while looking at the story of next 2 to 3 years, I am very much confident that the market can easily cross the level of 27,000 and may even hit the levels of 30,000 plus. In fact, the market will start discounting to the earning of FY28 from December onwards. And that time the buying should emerge from FIIs. See, our currency is around 88, 80, 89 sort of levels, which is little bit concerning. ये जो currency है, ये currency के पीछे जो flows आने चाहिए इंडियन मार्केट्स में, वो flows नहीं आ रहे हैं. एट द सेम टाइम जो क्वार्टरली अर्निंग्स के ऊपर, जैसे भी अमित ने कहा और हमने अभी डिस्कस किया था, कि जो क्वार्टरली अर्निंग्स है जब तक इंप्रूव नहीं हो रहे हैं तब तक हमें लगता है कि मार्केट में स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक एक्शन देखने मिलेगा. लेकिन इवेंचुअली हमें लगता है कि जैसे डोमेस्टिक इंस्टीट्यूशन की खरीदारी हो रही है, द वे दे आर infusing lot of funds into the market, it is very clear that the base downside is limited for the market. In last 3 months, if you observe the overall pattern of this buying and selling, then FI sold nearly 2.5 lakh crores during this particular period, whereas FI has bought, whereas domestic institutions bought equal value of equity in the open market. So based on that, I am of the view that the base is very strong. 24,500, 24,300, ये बहुत ही strong base बना हुआ है. Keep on investing into the market. Select stocks आप invest करते रहो. ये मार्केट में अगर आप इंडेक्स के लेवल्स या इंडेक्स के मूवमेंट को देख के अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करोगे तो आपका जो एक मैं बोलूंगा कि आपकी जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है इस मार्केट में कुछ इन्वेस्ट करने की, वो आप मिस करोगे। तो आप स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक व्यू रखो। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं देता हूँ कि रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज 1500 1600 के करीब ट्रेड कर रहा था, अभी 1350 1380 के करीब आ गया है। इन लेवल्स पे certainly we should look for adding stocks like Reliance Industries which is a part of index। इवेंचुअली आपको रिटर्न देके जाएगा। आई डोंट नो कि उस वक्त अगर ये बढ़ता है तो इंडेक्स बढ़ेगा कि नहीं बढ़ेगा। इट्स अ ह्यूज कंपोनेंट ऑफ निफ्टी 50, बट जस्ट आई एम गिविंग यू द एग्जांपल दैट अगर रिलायंस भी बढ़ता है और अगर इंडेक्स नहीं बढ़ता है तो आपकी अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बाइंग रिलायंस वो आप मिस करोगे। स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया बेस्ट एग्जांपल है। सिंस लास्ट few weeks, we have seen gradual upward activity in State Bank of India. It was around 750, 780 sort of levels. From there, all the way now it is at 875, but index is still stuck at 25,000 levels. तो ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी आपसे मिस नहीं होनी चाहिए। इसके लिए हम लोगों ने कुछ स्टॉक्स फाइंड आउट किए हुए हैं जो आज हमने हमारे दिवाली मुहूर्त पिक्स में दिए थे। एंड आई एम श्योर कि इस बार के जो यानी कि मैं कहूँगा कि जो इन्वेस्टमेंट का जो ओवरऑल कॉन्फिडेंस होगा वो और कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ेगा इन्वेस्टर्स लोगों का, क्योंकि मार्केट ने भले ही अपने को एक साल में रिटर्न ना दिए हो लेकिन स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक रिटर्न्स काफी अच्छे थे मार्केट में। तो मुझे यही लग रहा है कि आप इन्वेस्ट करते रहो। इंडेक्स के लेवल्स को अभी देखना बंद कर दो। इवेंचुअली इंडेक्स परफॉर्म करेगा और वो तभी नंबर्स दिखेंगे जब अर्निंग्स, जब क्वार्टरली अर्निंग्स सुधरेगी आपको वो दिखेगा। आई थिंक मुझे लगता है फ्रॉम Q3 ऑनवर्ड्स ये नंबर्स अच्छे आने चाहिए, क्वार्टरली नंबर्स। और तभी आपको पॉइंट बेस या पॉइंट वाइज आपको इंडेक्स में इंप्रूवमेंट देखने मिलेगा। तब तक मुझे लगता है कि हमें इस मार्केट में स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक रहना है। एंड 27,000 इज वेरी आई कैन से क्लोज बाय लेवल्स। मार्केट तो और भी ऊपर जाने की बिल्कुल कोशिश करेगा। दैट्स ऑल।
Thank you, Shrikant sir. Next question is from Kamini Sarod. She's asking for views on CAT and Voltas. For this, I'll go to our analyst Arun Agarwal. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, hi. So I'll talk on C8 first. C8 may see tire companies have reported good numbers in recent years, and that's because the commodity prices or the raw material prices have been low for them. But one thing what we have seen is the valuations for these tire companies have sort of increased meaningfully. If you look at the historical valuations where they trade, and now you look at the current valuations, they are trading at a pretty premium, to those numbers. Now, again, we also have to understand that the profitability for tire companies can be significantly be impacted if the commodities that they use, that's basically one is natural rubber and the other is oil derivatives that they use. If the price of these products increases, then you can see a sharp impact on the profitability for these companies. So this quarter, we are expecting a decent growth for CEAT in terms of their EBITDA. But again, valuations remains a concern for us. Hence, we are not very much positive right now on CEAT. We have already seen the stock correct from the highs of 4,000 rupees. That's like what 15% odd correction we have already seen. Maybe the stock goes on further, then we might have a relook at it. But at this point in time, again, we find the valuation slightly on the higher side. Coming on to Voltas, Voltas this quarter, second quarter, which is the July to September quarter, we believe it's going to be a challenging year, especially challenging quarter, largely in the AC segment. Now, the reason why I'm saying you so is because if you look at the summer season, which was very, very weak, and because of the monsoons came in quite early, and hence there was a lot of inventory there in the system. So this quarter started with a very high inventory with the in the system. So the primary sales would have been impacted to that extent. Secondly, the monsoons was even in certain of the northern regions, the monsoon started up early this time, and it has been a decent monsoons. The climate was not that very hot this time around for a good part for major part of the country. And third is that because the GST cut was announced in September first week, and the implementation happened only on 22nd of September, there would have been withholding of purchases during that period as well. So overall, we believe this quarter is going to be a weak quarter for Voltas, and we have a sell rating again. But if you're looking something on the AC side, I mean the room AC side, we are positive in one of the ancillary companies that which is Amber Enterprises. That stock could be looked on corrections. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Arun sir. Next question is from Bhanudas Purohit. He is asking to speak on Varun Beverages. For this, we have our FMCG sector analyst Amit Agarwal. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Bhanushali, we have an ad rating on Varun Beverages with a target price of 570. Last many quarters, Varun has been reporting very strong numbers, except for the last 2-3 quarters. So this is primarily because we have seen increased competition coming from Reliance-owned Campa Cola, which is said to have gained almost 10% market share pan-India. But Varun, for some reason, continues to report better numbers than what we had expected. Q1 was still pretty strong for the number despite early monsoons. And going forward, we expect Varun to deliver a stable performance despite challenges posed by unseasonal rains. We expect Varun to maintain its earning momentum. This is primarily would be led by a large scale up in international market, strengthening of ground execution, enhanced product visibility, especially with the number increase in VC coolers, that are the fridges that is placed in stores, and expanding its product portfolio. So we expect Varun to be more aggressive going forward, and with a lot of support from the brand Pepsi, we expect Varun to report strong numbers going forward, and we have an ad rating on the stock with a target price of 570.
Thank you, Amit sir. Now, due to time constraint, I'll take one last question from Dr. Ravi Shankar. He's asking for opinion on IOC and BPCL. For this, we have our oil and gas sector analyst Sumit Pokharna. Over to you.
Thank you. IOC, HPCL, BPCL, all three are facing the same problem. Though crude prices are under control, but the currency is weakening. So when it comes to landed price in rupee terms, their raw material cost has risen. However, they are unable to increase the retail fuel prices like petrol and diesel, which is a major component of their entire basket. So the simple answer to this is that their selling price is restricted because of the policies. However, their raw material cost is rising because of continuous depreciation in the rupee, which has squeezed their margins. The only plus point was huge discount which we were getting earlier from Russia. Now that again is becoming challenge for us because of the multiple geopolitical pressure which is going on. So the solution is that it's so much uncertain what will happen tomorrow. Will the currency depreciate further? Can the crude oil price go higher? Then there is a threat from EVs, there is a threat from CNG. We don't know whether they will be able to pass on the increased raw material burden to end consumer. So if a business which is facing so many problems, I think earnings visibility becomes very, very dull. And any investor will be avoiding stocks where the earnings visibility or predictability is difficult. So in this case, the same principle, avoid these stocks, HPCL, BPCL, and IOC, and focus on other stocks like Reliance Industries or oil and gas, ONGC in the oil and gas space. So we are positive on Reliance and ONGC, and we are negative on all three OMC's companies. Over to you.
Thank you, Sumit sir. With this, we've reached the end of today's webinar. I will now like to invite our Head of Research, Mr. Shrikant Chouhan, for his closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So, like this time, the strategy should be to look for adding stocks to your portfolio. If there were no tariffs, we could have gone about 26,000. That's my view. And I was of the view that the market uh, can easily cross the level of 26,000, but there it failed because of the specific news flow on the tariff. This has actually arrested the market at higher levels. Also, if we consider the earnings, then there also we failed. Since last 4 quarters, if we see the earnings, then it is on the muted side. But after these reforms on the GST side and benefit on the tax cut, we are of the view that this should help the market to minimize the downside. Broadly, I am of the view that this market is definitely stock pickers market, and we need to be more and more aggressive in terms of buying the stocks whenever there is a correction in the market. For example, ICICI Bank, Lodha Developers, these are the stocks which corrected during the we can say sideways or bullish sort of phase of the market. So despite that, we saw deep correction in ICICI Bank, Lodha Developers, even Reliance Industries. They have fallen to their important support levels. In fact, most of these stocks have very close to their extreme important support levels, which was not at all expected. But again, I would say that this will be an opportunity for investors to invest in, and eventually these stocks are definitely going to surpass their fair values. So we are of the view that Q3 should be good. Q2 will again remain on the watch list. People will say that whether the corporates are giving commentary as per expectations or not, giving some confidence or not, and based on that, the banks can return in the market. FIs बेचते रहेंगे, but for them what is important is whether the earnings are improving or not. So सब जाके अगर आप देखेंगे eventually सब कुछ अभी यहाँ पे earnings के ऊपर डिपेंड है, because already reforms जो आने थे वो reforms आ चुके हैं in terms of fiscal, in terms of credit, सभी लेवल से रिफॉर्म्स तो आ चुके हैं अभी, और अगर कोई रिफॉर्म्स आते हैं तो वेल एंड गुड, बट अगर रिफॉर्म्स नहीं आते तो अर्निंग्स बहुत अच्छी आनी बहुत जरूरी है, और वो मुझे लगता है कि Q3 से आएंगी। तो अभी आपके लिए ये एक ऐसा टाइम है कि जहां पे आपको इन्वेस्ट करना है और स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक इन्वेस्ट करना है, आप इंडेक्स के लेवल्स को ना देखें, ये हमारा एडवाइस है। दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड, एंड हैव अ वी कैन से prosperous new year to all of you in advance.
Yes, thank you, Shrikant sir, and thank you everyone for joining us. It's been wonderful having you here. Your feedback means a lot to us, so please share your thoughts in the comment section below. It helps us make these sessions even better. And before we wrap up, a quick reminder, stay connected with us on Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter for regular research updates. Once again, thank you. Wishing you all a very happy and prosperous and profitable Diwali. See you next time.